I think so many people are so quick to be like, it's my hormones. And it's like, no, bitch, it's not your hormones. It's that you aren't lifting, following a progressive training program. You are not lifting heavy enough weight. You're calling yourself advanced when you're not even at beginner status. You're eating healthy food, but you're not getting enough protein. You're not getting enough carbs. You're getting way too much fat. You're just blaming it all on your hormones when in reality, if you just took accountability for your strength training and your nutrition, I guarantee you would see more results, but that's too hard. Get in, losers. We're going lifting. When women say lifting made me bulky, lifting did not make you bulky. Eating in an unintentional calorie surplus is what made you gain weight and why you think you look bulky. Now, anytime we talk about lifting and bulky, we need to be really clear on what we're talking about there. The women that you see who are in these bodybuilding competitions, bodybuilding type of space, they are super dialed into nutrition, super dialed into their training. This stuff does not happen by accident. And I would say it's more of like the ones who are not in like bikini mode, like the ones who have a lot more muscle, like they look kind of She-Hulkish. There are a lot of them who do take steroids. They're not all taking steroids, but there are a lot of them who are taking steroids. Okay. So if you're thinking bulky from that perspective and that's what's preventing you from lifting, are you going to start taking steroids? Probably not. Don't think that's going to just like happen to you. Okay. If when I say bulky, you're thinking about women who are thicker, it's like they're lifting really heavy weight and they have super thick thighs or they have thick arms. It's just like, it's thick. You don't see all of this definition. If that to you is bulky, the way that you prevent something like that from happening is you track your macros. Like to be bulky and like super defined, like She-Hulk style, you have to track. To avoid being thicker and bulky, you have to track. Like tracking is the big piece that's going to allow you to potentially look a particular way or not look a particular way. And I think a lot of women who have kind of gone down this path by themselves of lifting because they want to build muscle, they do not understand the difference between eating protein versus eating lean protein. I mean, this is one of those things that I wish everybody knew, but they don't all know this. Just because something has a bunch of protein doesn't mean it's just protein. For example, if you have a goal of hitting, let's keep the math simple. If you have a goal of eating 100 grams of protein a day and you just do it with lean protein sources, let's say it's, I need to hit 100 grams of protein. I'm going to go after it with lean sources such as shrimp or chicken breast or low-fat Greek yogurt or things like that where we do not see additional carbs, additional fat. Like that is just what is helping you to hit that protein goal. The amount of calories, overall calories you are consuming is a lot less than people who are like, well, I'm going to use beef and I'm going to eat chicken thighs and I'm going to eat salmon. All of those are still great protein sources, but they're not lean protein sources. What does that mean? It means you're getting the protein, but you're also getting a lot of fat. What does that mean? It means the sources that you are pulling from are calorically more dense than those lean protein sources. So it is 100% possible that you're eating more calories and you are unintentionally putting yourself into a calorie surplus, which is going to help you build muscle. But it's also possible that because you are now eating more, not just eating more protein, but you are eating more fat, you're consuming a lot more food than you are realizing, that you are unintentionally putting yourself into a calorie surplus. And it's that fat gain that is happening that you are not into. And the only way you avoid doing something like that is learning how to track your macros. tracking is not something that you have to do for life, but it's one of those things that like you don't know the value of all of your food until you take the time to learn how to see that, and then eventually you can take it away. I've been tracking since 2021, and I had no idea how much protein, how many carbs, how many grams of fat was in anything until it was out in front of me. And now I'm at this point where I don't have to track every single day. Like I can be away for a week or for a weekend, and my guesstimation is pretty darn good. I still like tracking, and I like tracking because it gives me this sense of freedom where I'm just like, I know exactly what I'm having. So I know that I'm going to have energy for the workout the next day. I know my recovery is going to be as strong and solid as possible because I have those numbers as data. But I'm also at this point where it's like, if I didn't, would I still be able to maintain what it is I've been able to create between my strength and my aesthetic? Yeah. Yeah. But anytime we have those specific numbers, it just helps us to really feel confident that we know what the outcome should be, because it's science and math. It's not emotional. It's all logic. And for those of you who are like, I want to build the muscle, I really want this, but I don't want to be bulky. And, you know, I understand like I should be tracking, but like I don't want to track. Then don't expect the results. Don't expect the results. And I'm telling you this as somebody who wasn't always able to track. I overcame an eating disorder, a 10-year eating disorder that occurred throughout my teens. And it took time all throughout my 20s to heal that. If I went from eating disorder days right into tracking, it probably would have been a fucking shit show. But because I took that time to heal my relationship with my body, heal my relationship with food, and then go into tracking, it's not something that I see as, you know, restriction or obsession. I see it very much as a learning tool. And that has been very freeing and empowering to see, oh, I can eat more. Oh, if I eat this over this, I should end up having more energy for the workout. Oh, okay. This is like how you manipulate things to feel like a fucking goddess. Cool. Okay. But if I had started that before I did the healing, you know, it probably would have been terrible. And that's something that I encounter with a lot of women. Like there's a little bit of resistance to the tracking, not necessarily because like they don't want to do it, but it feels triggering. And the only way you get past that is doing the mental health work. And I don't hear a lot of people talk about like, I need to go to therapy before getting my dream body. But for me, I needed to get my butt into therapy before I could get my dream body, because there were times I was following the progressive training program. There were times I was working with the dietitian, and it's like everything looks good, but then I would self-sabotage with all or nothing, or thinking I'm not worthy, or, you know, looking to emotionally regulate with food and realizing after drinking half a bottle of wine and eating a few handfuls of, you know, whatever is in the pantry, that like, oh, fuck, I did that thing again, and not even realizing it. And it's just one of those things that I don't think you're going to be able to achieve aesthetic results until you are in a good place mentally, so that you can do the tracking stuff. You can show up, you can be aware, you can see it without there being this, you know, thought around this is obsessive, this is dangerous, this is, you know, bad, this is toxic. The only way you know what's going on with food is becoming more aware. And if you keep thinking to yourself, like, you know, it's toxic to track my food, and you avoid seeing what the fuck is in your food, and you're just, you know, picking stuff based off of vibes, or like, you know, I'm told avocado toast is healthy, so like I'm going to eat it. You can't expect elite results because you are not willing to do the elite work that is required for said results. And again, you know, if this is coming from a place where it's like, I don't want to be obsessive, then your first step is getting your butt into therapy and doing that mental health work so that you are able to show up to doing something like tracking macros without it feeling like a toxic thing. And that might mean it's going to take you a longer time to achieve the dream body. And that's okay. I mean, when I think to myself, you know, if I had the final 30 pounds to lose and I had the strength training program dialed in, I had the nutrition dialed in, and I was in a good place with my mental health, it could take you a year to achieve that dream body, including, you know, a deficit, including a reverse diet, and getting into like maintenance mode. It could take you a year. But, you know, if you need to do that mental health work first, it's probably going to take you longer. And is it okay if it takes you longer? Yeah, it is. Because grand scheme of things, life, I know some people are going to say life is so short. Life is long. What is a year? What is 2 years? What is a year of doing the mental health work so that the following year you can sink your teeth into the nutrition, you can sink your teeth into the strength training, you can do everything required to get the aesthetic you want, and then you can do whatever else you want to do with that. Like for me, last year I did my bulk, went into my cut. This year I reverse dieted, and I'm like getting back to training the way I love training, knowing that I have this aesthetic that is locked in and it's not going anywhere. And it was literally like a year and a half, I guess, of, you know, not necessarily doing my favorite stuff, but now I get to do my favorite stuff because I took the time to do the other stuff. And, you know, for me, the therapy piece was part of that as well. So I don't know how old you are, but I feel pretty confident to say that if you give yourself permission to do a year of working on whatever aspect you need to, even if it takes you 2 years, I mean, mental health stuff is complicated. And I'm not saying, you know, all you need is a year. You might be somebody who needs, you know, help that takes longer, or you need ongoing stuff. I mean, I love therapy. I'm in therapy every week. It's actually one of my favorite places to be. And we can always work on ourselves. We can always evolve. And it doesn't matter how long it takes you to achieve what it is you're trying to achieve, but you're not going to be able to achieve the dreams that you have for yourself if you are avoiding doing the work because you're saying, you know, this is triggering, or, you know, I don't want to take the time to go the extra mile and track the food. You don't want to track your food. Don't be surprised if you are putting yourself into an unintentional calorie surplus, and that's why you're gaining more fat. It just is what it is. When you start tracking your macros, that is control in a non-toxic way. Does not need to be obsessive, but that's how you know, oh, this is what I'm eating. This is what I'm getting. This is why the outcome is happening the way it's happening. The more variables you have to track, it's easier to figure out, you know, why is this working or why is this not working? I think so many people are so quick to be like, it's my hormones. And it's like, no, bitch, it's not your hormones. It's that you aren't lifting, following a progressive training program. You are not lifting heavy enough weight. You're calling yourself advanced when you're not even at beginner status. You're eating healthy food, but you're not getting enough protein. You're not getting enough carbs. You're getting way too much fat. You're just blaming it all on your hormones when in reality, if you just took accountability for your strength training and your nutrition, I guarantee you would see more results, but that's too hard. It's easier to blame the hormones. Shame on you. And I say shame on you, not for you to feel bad, but for you to just be aware that you have so much power on the outcome. But if you prevent yourself from doing those things that really could push you forward, like, you're missing out. And the only person that can change that stuff for you is you. I mean, I've seen this plenty of times with people who are just like, nope, it can't be the tracking. You're not tracking. Can't be the lifting. Well, I see that you're not doing your homework. It must be my hormones. And then they go down this rabbit hole with doctors. And I mean, I think anytime people want to go down a rabbit hole, you're going to find a bunch of extra stuff. But it's like, you probably could have achieved what you wanted to achieve before bringing anything else into the space. And now you're taking these like random supplements that these doctors are pushing at you that you really did not need in order to lose X amount of body fat and build X amount of muscle. But, you do you, boo-boo. When I was going through my ED, tracking calories was something I was so obsessed with. And when I track my macros now, it doesn't feel that way. When I was tracking calories, starving to be skinny, it was about, how small can I be? And now with tracking macros, it's how much can I eat to maintain the physique, increase the energy, to become the strongest, most badass version of myself. It is one of the most empowering things to have, knowing that I'm going to be able to control the things that I want to control in a way that doesn't feel, obsessive. It feels freeing. Like, that's the best way I can describe the tracking of the macros. But I also know a big piece of that is because I have done a lot of healing and therapy around my relationship with food and not tying my self-worth to, my weight on the scale or my jean size, or even tying my worth to how much I can lift. Like, I went through a really weird phase. If you've been following me on Instagram since the beginning, like, you probably have noticed how I've changed over the last few years. But when I was trying to be skinny, the worth was, well, what's the number on the scale? What size clothes do you wear? And then I got to this point where it was like, well, how much can I lift? And, can I lift what she can lift? I can't, I'm not as strong. Like, I was tying my worth again to something negative. And it took me a while to learn that I have inherent self-worth because I'm human. And so do you. Numbers do not matter. Numbers do not give us any type of worth. And, I think you can be obsessive with wanting to be really small. I think you can be obsessive with being really strong. I mean, you can be obsessive over anything, but it's also possible to have a healthy relationship in terms of achieving a particular aesthetic in a healthy way. It can also be healthy to go about getting stronger in a healthy way. All of it comes down to what is your approach and why are you doing this? And if this kind of stuff does feel triggering to you, my question to you is why? What's this bringing up for you? Have you talked to somebody about this? Is there, if these are things that you want to be able to do for yourself, but your brain is getting in the way saying that, this is toxic, this is obsessive, this is like scary, then there's probably some stuff that you need to explore on your own. I mean, I have a post on Instagram, if you go all the way back to the beginning, it's like me on a scale and I'm talking about like how terrible it is to weigh yourself in. Whereas now I weigh in every day, not because I'm being obsessive, but because I like to track the trends. And that's something that I've been working on with Hillary Irvin, the dietitian I work with. And it helps to just give us more evidence to see, what are these trends? So when things spike, there's never a moment where it's just like, oh my gosh, now I need to restrict. Oh my gosh, now I need to, do a double in the gym. It's like, no, it's happening because of water retention. It's happening because you had more sodium. It's happening because you were on a flight. It gives you so much more perspective so that you don't like dive off of the deep end. And I just wish I understood this stuff earlier on. I wish I got into therapy earlier on, but You know, you can't go backwards. You can't wish things were different in the past, but you always have control to change the future by choosing something different in the present. So I want to leave you with this. A dangerous woman doesn't avoid the truth. She uses the truth to her advantage. Thank you for tuning into this episode of the Dangerous Woman podcast. Make sure to leave us a review, follow, and subscribe so you never miss an episode. Check us out on YouTube. There's things there besides the podcast, lives, shorts, and more to come.